So would you place restrictions if you were Tony or any federation boss, Paul? Would you place restrictions on the in-ring activity, thus not giving the worker freedom to call it in the ring, which many a good match has been had by experienced workers doing that? Do you take that away? Because that's the only way to ensure, and you're not even ensuring anything can happen in a match, but really risky stuff like that.
Well, I remember when they came to me and they said, we'd like you and Paul to have a Hell in the Cell. I said, I'll have a Hell in the Cell as long as it stays in the cell. Then they said, no, this will fucking suck. This will be a horrible match. We'll put Foley in as referee just to give it buffer. The psychology of a fucking cage match, especially one with a roof, is, and Paul has been running from me the entire angle, is for him to fucking, and I should have beat him. I mean, I should have beat him in that cage. He could have turned around and beat me a week later. I should have beat him. But him and Flair beat me and Shawn. They sent us home for Raw. So not only do we lose the pay-per-view, Shawn Michaels and I both, who are the baby faces, but the heels show up and we don't show up to TV.
Oh.
So we're just absolute fucking cunts.
Jobbed out right there, yeah. The follow-up show.
And you know what the thing is? It wasn't my call. I'm not going to bitch. Got paid the same if I can go home Monday as I did to show up, so. But if you'd have told me, like, that's, you know, it was the same as when they told me I had a ladder match. And I said, how am I going over? And they said, you're not. I said, so what you're telling me is I've got to take a fucking bump off a 20-foot ladder. No, not necessarily. I said, no, I have to. I said, so I got there, I looked at it, I got up on top of the ladder, I said, I've never done this before in my life, but I will set up a table so I can fucking, when I go to take a bump, I've got something to aim for, so I can try to get my body as flat as possible. And I gave myself a fucking horrible concussion. So it's not like I haven't done stupid fucking things at 55 years old. Because I was 55 or 56 years old when I did that. You know, it was against my better judgment. But I also went home and shaved my fucking head. And when they called me to come back, I said, have you not seen my Twitter page? They said, what do you mean? I said, Michael, I said, he goes, oh, fuck, man. What happened to your hair? It's gray. You cut all your hair off. I said, yeah. I took it as I was being let go when you told me to have a ladder match at fucking 57 years old. I took that as lack of admiration for fucking retirement matches.
Right. So the responsibility lies solely with the workers, what we're
Absolutely.
saying. Okay.
You know, in retrospect, it would have been just easier for me to say, I'm not doing that.
Right. To say it.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Right. Gotcha.
But I would never do. They knew I would never do that to Paul. So.
What discussion did you have with him beforehand? Did you talk about Black being the guy on the team?
He was running around. He was so busy running around doing so many other, you know. He had fucking 10 hats on at that time. We barely had no time to put anything together. That's a match you got to.
I was going to say that was probably part of the mistake.
You can't call that on the fucking fly.
Right.
So we had a couple seconds, and you know, I looked. I remember there was one point where I put the ladder, and I said, "No, I got to put it up another rung, and I got to fucking go over and do something, but clothesline him and go fucking set the ladder." But it's one of those things where just like, you know. I think it's been outlawed in most states now. I think they call it an abortion.
Yeah, not most, but some.